Matthew chapter 19, verse 21. My name's Tim Hart, and I'm out here in the country, having just been to church on the Sunday morning at a small country church, which only had 2 seats spare, so it was a pretty popular service, and they had a lunch afterwards. And it's an independent building next to the pastor's house. That's sort of I don't really call him the pastor, but sort of the scripture. Jesus answered him, "If you would be perfect, that is, have that spiritual maturity which accompanies self-sacrificing character, go and sell what you have and give to the poor, and you will have riches in heaven, and come and be my disciple, side with my party and follow me." It's sort of 22, but when the young man heard this, he went away sad, grieved, and in much distress, for he had great possessions. Not every pastor is money sort of grabbing, and the offerings here were very, they didn't even take up an offering, they just left a bag next to the cups of tea, and that's nice. The pastor just works a full-time job. What I love about this scripture is that Jesus said that, go and sell all that you have and give to the poor. Now notice that Jesus didn't say go and sell all that you have and give to the church. I got a revelation on that some years ago. Why to the poor? Because there's no credit in that. You can't claim, that you did something good because you gave to an institution, and there's no credit if you give your belongings to the poor, and that's a good thing. It's a healthy scenario to do that, and it's sort of, there's some funny rule with the Catholic system that if you steal something and you pay recompense, that you have to pay back 4 times what you stole to charity. Now, the interesting thing is that often that charity is not directly to the poor, but that can infer that it's a charity within the institution of the church system, and that is a credit to the church system in itself, because then the church can claim, well, we gave $100,000 to such and such charity, and there's no credit in that again. The way Jesus infers here is that it's completely free from institutional care, and so I think that's an incredibly important point. Now, and come and be my disciple, side with my party and follow me. This is something that is just not in the church like you don't, you know, be a disciple and follow some man. Like you join the church, which is like joining the synagogue, and you do exactly what the synagogue or church tells you what to do. A totally different principle, and again, this is opposite to the institutional system that Christ first instructed. Going down to verse 22, but when this young man heard this, he went away sad, grieved and in much distress, for he had great possessions. I must admit, like I don't really lack in possessions, but there was a time in my life when I really did sell everything, and you know, like you'd think it'd be a massive amount of money for me to sell everything, and after I did the garage sale, guess what? I only came up with $1,000. That's all my possessions were worth, and plus my car, which I didn't end up selling, and own it to this day, a very old car. And God told me not to give that $1,000 away, and I thought, why would God say not to spend that $1,000 on the poor? Because I was living on the street at the time for a 2-year period, seeking the righteousness of God, feeling that if Christ was returning here on earth, that I would be prepared to follow him and to be by his side, and this would be just one step. And I did come closer to Christ, although it was a very difficult time, not sleeping house to house, from not sleeping on the street like physically, but sleeping on couch to couch, typically at Christians on Christians' homes. And 24, beautiful. Again, I tell you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to go into the kingdom of heaven. And this is something that's just amazing to me. And I've heard that people say that that the kingdom of heaven, that this is just an allegory, that it was just an expression that they used in those days, that people, that the eye of a needle was a part of the wall, probably in Jerusalem, where the camels had to go on their knees to get through it, or some story like that. I don't believe that. I believe Jesus literally meant, you know, it's easier for rich men to go through an actual eye of a needle, you know, than to get into the kingdom of heaven. And this to me is gold. Like, it goes against every possible principle of the institutional church, because all the church cares about is that you make as much money as possible, and so that the pastor can afford his wage, and the bills get paid, and the building gets built, and there's you know, missionaries to support if they have you know, a lot of, you know, money left over. Interestingly, missionaries are the first people to get dropped off the list when it comes to when the tithes start disappearing. And yeah, so this has been Matthew 19 down to 24. Over and out. Bye.